Seconded, Chair.
Honorable Jama and was any other nomination? None. Ms. Mudise can go ahead and chair the meeting. There's the agenda, the meeting.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matonsi and members. Good morning. I think we have already lost a bit of time, 10 minutes. Can we then get to item number 2 so that we can proceed to item number 3? If there are any apologies, Eddie, can we deal with item number 2?
Yes, from my side, Chairperson, the apology is from the minister and the deputy minister. That's all. From members, I didn't receive any apologies.
Eddie, also,
much.
Chair, if I can just also add, also the PDOs, the public democracy officers are also out in the field. So I'm presenting on their behalf today because they're busy conducting workshops. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, there are no apologies. I take it that members of the committee, all of them have managed to join, except the chair that has not joined the meeting. Can we then move to item number 3?
There's a hand.
I'll raise my hand.
Ms. Ngobeni.
Oh, you can come in, Ms. Ngobeni.
Thank you so much, and good morning, Chair, Acting Chair, and members. I'm just noting, Chair, that I'm on oversight. I've just stepped away. Should we get to the nub of the issue and not finish on time, please excuse me as soon as our allocated time is concluded. If we don't finish, I will then just step out the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ngobeni. That is noted and welcome. Any other member who wants to register an apology? If none, Mr. Matonsi, then can we move to item number 3? Do you have anything to flag for us so we can follow the program?
Okay. Adam, are you able to see the program?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, members, and thanks, Chairperson. The program. This is the program that was drafted late last year and then submitted to the Office of the House Chair with the approval of the Chairperson. We did not get time at that time to present it to the committee because all our meeting has been concluded. So, firstly, is today's meeting, which is the issue of the first term program and also the briefing on updates on the readiness for the Limpopo public hearings, then the proposed study tour to India and the correspondence from the Minister of Home Affairs, especially on the electoral reform consultation panel. And then that is today. And then next week, which is from Sunday to Friday, we'll be in Limpopo on the public hearings, and then we'll be giving the details in terms of the logistics. And then on the 12th of February is SONA, and then after SONA, and then we're going to have a briefing by the Department of Home Affairs on their first and second term and third term programs. Reports are not programs. Reports. You'll recall last year we did not have a briefing on this first and second and third term program, so we are doing all of them at the same time, and then we'll proceed to the fourth term in the next term. And then on the 24th, briefing by the provincial managers of Limpopo and Mpumalanga on their work in their respective provinces. And then on the 25th is a budget speech. 3rd of March, briefing by the content advisor on the report of the public hearings on the marriage bill. And then we are also proposing a joint meeting with the PC on Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs and Select Committee on Security and Justice to receive a briefing by the IEC on the electoral amendment bill that is for the local government. We hope by that time it will have been tabled to Parliament. And then 6 March, briefing by the Department of Home Affairs, the BMA and the IEC Government Printing Works on their budget allocations for 2026-2027 financial year. And then 10 March, briefing by the Provincial Manager of KwaZulu-Natal, Western Cape and Eastern Cape on their work. Then 17 March, the briefing by the Counter-Corruption and Security Services on their work. There was a standing agreement last year with the committee that we should be having them on a quarterly basis to brief us on their work. Then briefing by the Provincial Manager of Gauteng and Northwest on their work in their respective provinces. And then 24 March is response by the Department of Home Affairs on the written submission and report of the public hearing on the marriage bill, and then it will be followed by briefing by the Provincial Manager of Northern Cape and the Free State on their respective work. 31st March, response by the Legal Service on the written submission and report of the public hearings on the bill pertaining to the legal issues that are pertaining to legal on the report. And then we're also going to have a joint briefing with the PC on Home Affairs, Cooperative Governance, and Select Committee on Security and Justice by the Minister of Home Affairs and the ERCP panel on the report of the electoral reform. And then on the 10th to 18th is the study tour to India on electronic voting. Initially the program that was sent to members, there was a joint meeting with police and Home Affairs and BMA on the transfer of SAPS members to BMA. So then the chairperson indicated that I understand there's a discussion between the two ministers, so we should wait until that discussion has been concluded. And then also the issue of the deliberation of the Electoral Commission Amendment Bill, that is on the referendum, it should be moved to the next term. So this is the program, members. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matonzi. Members, a program has been presented to us. Can I get an indication if there are comments or clarity-seeking questions from the members?
There is a hand from Honorable Ngobeni, Chair.
There's a member, Busapi. Can you mute your mic? Miss Machi? Thank you very much. I only see the hand of Miss Ngobeni. You can come in.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Mine is just really on the study tour. Just to ask, when will clarity be provided with regards to the program in India, and also all of these fact finding, all of the stakeholders that will be met when the committee goes there? For the simple reason that I think there's been now 2 study tours that have been cancelled due to ill preparation or lack of adequate preparation for this course. Can we just get clarity from Mr. Matonzi as to whether this one has got, what are the probabilities of success for the committee to be able to undertake this particular study tour? In terms of the rest of the program, I think it looks fine. I absolutely have no issues with what has been presented so far. Thank you, Chair.
Chairperson, there's Honorable Ross as well.
Okay, Honorable Ross, you can come in.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Apologies, somebody was phoning and it distracted me. Chair, the only question I would like to ask really is about the white paper on citizenship, which I see the deadline has been extended to the middle of February. What the time frame is for us to then look at that? Would it be before the end of the term or in the next term. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. I think maybe Adam will also assist, but in terms of the study tour, Ms. Ngobeni, I'm going to be making a presentation on it now after this, and then maybe some of the questions will be answered in terms of how far we are at the moment. In terms of the white paper, Chairperson, we have not yet looked at what the timeline will be in terms of the Home Affairs finalizing it, because I know that the submission has been until the middle of February. So maybe Adam can add on that. I don't have much information, Chairperson. Adam?
Thank you. Yes, in terms of their strategic plan, they have until the end of this quarter to consult internally after the submissions are received. So we'll, in all likelihood, only be dealing with it at the earliest in the next term, if not later. So yeah, that's as far as I know. Thank you, Chair.
Chairperson, I think we're done.
Thank you very much, members. Are we clarified?
Chairperson, I'm very sorry. I'm using the new device. It's difficult for me to raise my hand, but according to the program, I'm moving with it, including the question which has been asked by Honorable Ngobeni in relation of the confirmation of the tours. But with the program and such, I move with the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I then get a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the program?
Chair, I move for the adoption.
Second,
Thank you, Honorable Ross.
I second it, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Maki and Honorable Ross. The program has been duly adopted. Mr. Matonsi, can we then move to the next item? Can you still check if the chairperson will still join the meeting?
Yeah, I'll ask if Babalwa in the meantime can check for me, since I'm also going to be presenting the next one. She's in the meeting. Chairperson, this is the presentation. I'm sorry, yeah, we did this to Menko. This is the presentation on the public hearings, the study tour to India, and the correspondence that I mentioned earlier on. And then in terms of the public hearings were scheduled to take place from 2 to 5 February 2026. And then we'll be leaving for the hearings on the 1st and then coming back on the 6th of February. So the actual hearings will take place between the 2 and the 5 of February. The political application was submitted on December, it was submitted on December and was approved on the 9th of December. A meeting of internal stakeholders. These are the stakeholders, including committee section, SCM, public education, and all those. We normally have meetings where we get an update on each stakeholder, what they've done so far. So the first meeting was 10 December last year, and then we had another one 16 January, and then we had another one 20 January, and then the last one is planned for tomorrow. That probably be the last one, just to close all the loopholes. And then all the correspondences were dispatched to the Speaker of Limpopo Legislature, the Premier, the House of Traditional Leaders and Traditional and Khoisan Leaders, the National House of Traditional and Khoisan Leaders, as well as the districts and local municipalities. So the letters were dispatched last year, and then we resend them again this year, noting that probably most people might have taken leave. The financial application was submitted on 9 January this year and was approved on the 20th of January. I think Thurston was busy yesterday with the purchase orders to confirmation of flights, accommodation, and ground transport. And then, as I've indicated, we are departing on the 1st of February. And then delegation will assemble at OR Tambo International Airport. So in other words, the members that are traveling from Cape Town and Durban will all meet with the members that are in Johannesburg or in Gauteng. And then we all fly to Polokwane. Then upon arrival, the delegation will travel by road to Tzaneen and then check in at the Fairview Hotel. On the morning of 2nd February, the delegation will check out of the hotel and pay a courtesy call to Kgoshi Dr. Make. This will be followed by a public hearing which will take place on the 2nd of February at Linyenye Community Hall. So this presentation, like it was presented also to Chairperson, he also indicated that it will be important that when we have to check out, especially when we have to pay courtesy call, and then we have to take our bags when we have to go for breakfast, so that we don't go for breakfast and then go back and check out. So take our bags into our vehicles, and then so that we make sure that we're on time. After the conclusion of the public hearing, the delegation will travel to Thohoyandou and check in at the Premier Hotel. Then on the 3rd, then the delegation will check out of the hotel and pay a courtesy call to Kgoshi Thovela Musiwa of Papudi Traditional Council. Then the delegation will conduct the hearings in Thohoyandou at George Pahadi Town Hall on the 3rd of February. After the hearings, then the delegation will travel to Polokwane and check in at the Atrium Boutique Hotel, and with checkout schedule for 4 February. So in other words, we are on the 4th in the morning, we'll check out, but on the 4th, it will be a traveling day, but we'll do some oversights, and that Chairperson has already indicated. For instance, he is proposed that on the 4th, while we check out in Polokwane, we should go to the Polokwane Home Affairs at 10 o'clock. There's a program that has been done even for the public hearing that includes this. And then we do an oversight at the Polokwane office for an hour or so. And then from there, we travel on our way to Groblersdal, and then we go via Luwahomu. And then we also do an oversight there. And then from there, we travel to Groblersdal. And then when we arrive at Groblersdal, we are going to be staying at the Kingdom Lodge. And then on the 5th of February, the delegation will pay a courtesy call to Kgoshi Kgadi Matsepe, and thereafter proceed to the public hearing at Tafelkop to be held at the Apostolic Faith Mission of South Africa. And then we are going to stay at this hotel or this lodge, Kingdom Lodge, for 2 days. So in other words, on the 4th and also on the night of the 5th. And then on the 6th, the delegation will check out at the hotel and conduct an oversight visit to the Department of Home Affairs local office. Following the conclusion of the program, the delegation will travel to OR Tambo International Airport. That will be more or less around 11:30, and then we all drive to Johannesburg. Then the delegation that travels to Cape Town will on their way to Cape Town, and then those who are traveling to Durban, they will be on their way to Durban. And then those who are in Gauteng, they will just go home. So that will be the conclusion of the public hearing. So in terms of stuff that has been done, catering is being finalized. The purchase order, I think, will be sent between today and tomorrow, including equipments that are needed. Specifically, we have requested that we should have some industrial air conditioning, because realizing that it's summer and Limpopo is very hot around this time. Unless if the rain, it will be raining when we get there. And then the PCS, they have already sent the flyers, and then in the promotional videos, they said they had challenges because they only had one staff member. Then we'll have a photographer at the hearing who will be taking photos. Interpreting services, the languages that are going to be used is English, Afrikaans, Sepedi, Xitsonga, and then South African Sign Language, Venda, and Sindebele. So the interpreting will be provided by Parliament staff. There won't be any freelancers. And then Parliament Protection Service will deploy about 8 officials to support and secure the public hearing. So they will also be interacting with the traffic and the police in terms of the escort in all our hearing. On this one, the Parliamentary Democracy Office, that the community mobilization were conducted. Most of our community mobilization were done last year. You will recall last year there were 2 incidents where we have to cancel the public hearings at the beginning and towards the end of November. So around that time, community mobilization was done. As far as I know now, the colleagues have already started as well. They traveled to the province yesterday. Some of them were there. So they are going on in terms of more community mobilization. And in fact, in around Sikukune, Tandi, the PDO there, she's going to be on Radio Mutse FM tomorrow from 10 to 11, just to promote the hearing. Then, so like I indicated here, the PDOs, they further indicated that the attendance may be affected due to the 2 cancellation of the public hearing in November 2024. So this is the draft program that indicates the district, the local municipality, and the venues. And then I'll prefer if I could just go through the whole presentation in terms of the India study tour. The Portfolio Committee on Home Affairs intends to undertake a study tour to India from 10 to 18 April. The content advisor researcher compiled a concept paper for the tour, which was submitted together with a political application. So the application was submitted to the House Chair. The initial application submitted to the Office of the House Chair was on 7 January, and that was including India and Namibia. That was the decision of the committee last year. The Office of the House Chair advised that the Namibia leg be removed and that an amended application be submitted. So in other words, after that, and then we were informed that no, we should only do India, and then we have to amend the application. So we amended the application, and it was resubmitted on 16 January. The House Chair has recommended the approval of the trip, and the application has been forwarded to the Office of the Speaker for final approval. So it has been submitted to the Speaker. So probably this week I need to make a follow-up in terms of how far is the Speaker's office in processing that application. A letter has been submitted to the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation requesting diplomatic assistance through the South African Embassy in New Delhi in preparation for the study tour. So we already done that, and then also we send a letter to the IEC to firstly to accompany us, and also to try to coordinate and assist us in terms of the electoral body in India. So the concept paper and the draft program were submitted to both the Department of International Relations and the IEC. So then at the moment, the committee assistant is in the process of finalizing the financial application, which will be submitted once completed. As a result, flights, ground transport, accommodation cannot be confirmed prior to the approval of the financial application. But also, members, I just got contact names from DERCO, who I'm going to coordinate, because also they must coordinate as well, DERCO, with the Indian Parliament and the electoral body, that said, in terms of their availability. But at the moment, the letters to DERCO have been sent, and then the IEC, the letters have been sent, And then I did receive some contact names. I'm not sure if these names are here in Pretoria, but there is one from the office of the DG wherein I'm going to start engaging with them in terms of the program. Then also the committee is planning another tour to Namibia on electronic voting. You remember that in Namibia, they did electronic voting, but they move away from it. So chairperson felt that no, the committee, after going to India, should also go to Namibia to find out, what were the issues. Then the other the other trip that we are planning is to Chirindu port of entry, that is between Zambia and Zimbabwe, on one-stop border post processing. In terms of the correspondences, you'll remember last year the committee met with the panel, then with the Minister of Home Affairs, in terms of the reports. Then there was a concern about the 2 reports that the panel submitted. Then there was a legal opinion that was requested by Parliament from Parliament Legal Service. And then after that legal opinion that was presented by Parliament Legal Service, then the committee resolved that a letter should be written to the Minister of Home Affairs to request that he reconvene the panel to finalize the report. And then also another letter should be written to the Speaker of the National Assembly in terms of the tabling. You will recall that in terms of the tabling, there was a tabling that was done, and also to the NCOP, because if the report is to Parliament, it should be tabling for report and consideration. The minister responded to that letter, and then the minister responded in that letter, and then indicating that firstly that there was a legal opinion that he obtained that contradict the legal opinion of Parliament, but also he will said no. He indicated in the letter that he will sought further legal opinion. That was the first letter. I think it was the 4th of December that we received. Then on the 12th of December, then there was another letter from the minister indicating that no, he has written back to the chairperson of the panel, indicating to him that they should consolidate the report into one, and then the report should be submitted to his office on or before the 30th of January. And then members will also recall that there was a request to the minister to say, in terms of the cost of the panel, how much was it? And then the minister has responded to that. And then the letter indicates that the Department of Home Affairs spent about 10.2 million rand. And then in that letter, there's a breakdown. And then also there's a letter from the IEC, as I've indicated, that we wrote to the IEC in terms of the India study tour. So they have agreed to assist us and also to have designate some officials to accompany us. Thank you. And then maybe before members can ask questions, if I could ask that Adam go into details in terms of the report on behalf of the PDOs, that is the Parliamentary Democracy Office. These are the officials that are conducting pre-hearing workshops in Limpopo. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matonsi. Do we have an additional presentation, Mr. Salmon?
Yes, Chair. As indicated by Eddie, this is the progress report from the education and democracy officers that are in the field at the moment. One is on what has been done thus far, and then the plans for this week. So in the 3 districts, Mopani, Vemba, and Sekhukhune, there are 2 staff from the PDO office deployed in Mopani. And activities have included education workshops, information distribution, such as publications, memos, and copies of the bill in Kitsonga and English. There were radio interviews, stakeholder engagement meetings, and invitation posters distributed to the targeted stakeholders, both electronically and physically. There have been 12 education workshops conducted, 520 participants. No radio interviews yet. They're going to be coming this week. And the workshops were conducted in Greater Tanin, in Lesedi, in Bulamatlo, and then in Tanin in the council chamber and the Runnymede cluster, as well as Paraboa. Then in Vembe, there are also two staff members and with similar kind of activities. 13 education workshops, 755 participants, one radio interview, and the workshops were conducted in Makado and Tulamela. In Sekukuni, there's one staff member, also similar activities, 17 education workshops, 1,569 participants, three radio interviews on Mautse Community Radio and one in Tabancho Community Radio. The workshops there were conducted in Sekukuni District, Elias Motsoaledi, and Makudu Tamaga and Elias Motsoaledi, Ephraim Mochwale and Feta Khoma Tubatse, which are in those areas. And then the stakeholders engaged were municipal speakers and councils, traditional councils, church leaders, ward committees, health workers, men's forums, FAMSA, SANCO, GCIS, Home Affairs, NGOs, people with disabilities, and the LGBTQI plus community. And the planned activities, which I'll do in the next presentation, will be communication with local chiefs for courtesy visits, requesting, there are requests to the local radio stations that there's still a response awaiting, but some are planned, and the transport plans for the people to participate, and more workshops will be presented as in the next presentation. The issues raised, I'm not going to go into these. This is pretty much the same issues we've been raising in all the other areas. Just something peculiar to Limpopo is that they wanted some clarity on Peri culture, where they have a tradition of Ngwetse Yalapa, which is, I think, got to do with the culture of being able to marry your cousin. And we have the chairperson busy joining us, I see. With this clause, it will mean that the Pedis will be disadvantaged, and they suggested should be removed on the relation to marrying cousins. Yeah, unlike in other provinces, they're saying that marriages should be registered 3 to 5 days after solemnization. They don't support the 14 days because there might be a greater risk of interference. So this is different than other provinces, but essentially much of the same issues as have been covered in other provinces. And then just an overview of what's been done so far. Total workshops 42, total number of attendees 2,844, same amount of bills distributed, and 5,332 flyers distributed. And then I'm just going to quickly share the plans for this week. Okay, so yesterday they were in the GTLM ward, which is Kamake, Lesedi, Bulamelo, and Relela. And they had a series of workshops there where there were 63 attendees. Today they're going to be in Senuam Kope, Hamojaji, Valaborwa, and Runnymede at 10:02 and 10:02, so 4 workshops being conducted. And this is with ward committees, youth structures, people with disabilities, traditional leaders, etc. The same stakeholders I mentioned in the previous presentation. And then on the 29th, which is Thursday, They'll be in Ward 18, 16, 17, 15, 19, and 20. With the similar stakeholders, also and at 3 times in the day, as you can see there. Then on Friday they'll be in Muraleng and at the Department of Home Affairs in Vemba District. Oh, sorry. So this was for the Mopani district, and then the workshops that are happening in Vemba district are going to be at the Department of Home Affairs office, as well as the Tsakuma Makado local office and the Tulamelela local municipality. That's with the tribal authorities, with men's forums, traditional authorities, community members. And so that's the whole schedule there. So at least one, if not two meetings being conducted on each of the days in these various districts in Vembe. Then a large public hearing in the Tulamelo will be on that was already conducted on the 3rd of January for all stakeholders. And we haven't seen the numbers there yet. And then for Sikokuni, yesterday they were in LS Mosoledi local, at the Motsepe Traditional House and the Bolea Traditional House for 2 meetings. We were still waiting for the numbers from that. And today they're in, oh, sorry. Yeah, so tomorrow they're going to be in the ward council in the ward councillor Mapate office in Ephraim Mohale, and at the high school at Elias Motsaledi. The 29th and 30th, they're still waiting for the times for those meetings, but they're going to be at the Council of Macau and Sports Ground and the councillor's office in Elias Motsaledi too. The radio slots, they're still waiting for confirmation. But it's Mautsu FM, Sekokune, and Tafokop. So that's the plans for this week. Thank you, Acting Chair. I think the Honorable Chabane has joined us now as well.
Thank you very much for the presentations. Members, we have received 3 presentations. Can I then get an indication of members who want to make comments and seek clarity questions? By show of hands. Welcome, Honorable Chabane.
Thank you, Whip.
I see the hand of Honorable Mohale and Honorable Rose in that order.
Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Chair, and greetings to all the honorable members on the platform in compliments of the new year. Chair, I just wanted to get clarity on the concept paper. Firstly, was it sent to members, or it was just sent to Parliament only? And then on the issue of the trip, I don't know, because I see we have about 3 international trips lined up. So I just wanted to get clarity in terms of the budget. How does it work? Does Parliament allocate an annual international travel budget for the committee? And what happens in the case that is not utilized, like in the previous financial year where we didn't travel? So what happens in those instances? These 3 trips, all of them, are they going to receive the necessary funding so that they become successful? So if we can get clarity around those issues, I'll appreciate that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mohale. Honorable Ross.
Thank you, Chair. Just one question and then two comments. The first question is just to check with Eddie. Is Eddie saying that the Electoral Reform Consultation Panel will deliver their combined report by the 30th of January? I just want to confirm that I heard correctly. Then, Chair, I think from an oversight point of view, it's good to see that there are radio interviews there. And I think local radio is a great way to reach a lot of persons on the ground. I think we just need to also track, and I'd like to get an understanding of what radio stations. We don't have to get it right now if it's not available, but if we can just get it in writing, what are the radio stations and when is the show going to happen? So that we can also get our public reps to check that that it did take place. Because I believe it's a great way to get in touch with a lot of persons that might not read written media anymore and might not have access to social media. Then, Chair, just one comment on oversights as well. This weekend there was allegedly a police vehicle that overturned on an oversight, and I think we just need to re-emphasize in this planning process the importance of proper planning so that we don't have to rush from one meeting to another. That we just ensure that we drive at reasonable speeds, like everybody else has to drive in the country, and that we don't put ourselves in a position where we have to race for an airport, et cetera, et cetera. Then finally, Chair, in terms of the proposed India trip, I think it's a very good option in terms of being a country with a similar dynamic. You have a large level of different types of persons staying in different areas to evaluate the effectiveness of electronic voting. The one fantastic thing that has happened in India has been the mass registration of a large deal of their population that just could never get citizenship. So these are persons that are abandoned by their parents. They might be youngsters, their grandparents never registered them, etc. And they've had a hugely successful mass registration campaign with ruggedized laptops, persons that go out with those ruggedized laptops. And my request here is, I know that this is a trip to do with elections, but if possible, that we could potentially include that as a session, that we could meet with that department that did that, because I believe it would be tremendously valuable for South Africa. We have millions of young South Africans, poor South Africans that could never get their ID. Their parents disappeared. They don't have a birth certificate. Now they're being told they have to get a DNA test with family members that aren't even around. And I think it would be tremendously valuable for this committee, if possible, if we could add that meeting in while we're in India, given that it's a big challenge in our country. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, members. I don't see any additional hands. Oh, I see Ms. Martin. You can come in.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairperson. Mine is in relation with the study tour to India. I would like to find out whether they were still need to immunize for that trip as you did for Brazil last year. Are we still going to go for an immunization for the Indian trip? If it's so, I would like to request that our officials should keep on arranging timelessly the program for those who will be attending. Thank you.
Thank you very much, members, for those comments and clarity-seeking questions. From my side, before I hand over to the chairperson of the committee, Honorable Chabane, firstly, Mr. Matonzi, is to check if you are keeping tabs with the weather conditions in Limpopo for the coming week of the public hearings. I think we are all aware that the past few weeks they've been experiencing heavy rains and floods. Therefore, it will be important that members are informed on the weather conditions that site so that they can plan ahead properly. But secondly, on the trip to India that is planned for April, you've made mention, and it's something that one has heard even before with regard to the application for the financial resources or the financial application. And you are saying it's not ready. So you are presenting to us a presentation that you would have presented to Manco, but you are coming to a portfolio committee saying that you have not yet even applied for that financial resources for the trip. And I want to understand that, isn't it one of those things that make these international trips not to be successful? That you are speaking about the trip and the dates and the letters that you have sent to DERCO, but we know that without that financial approval, a trip will not be a success. And what entails that financial application that would really take you so long? And it's just that I'm not sure of the date you would have presented this report to Manco and to today's portfolio committee meeting. How long will it take for you to compile that application and submit so that you can be able to get an approval timeously so that you make a trip a success? But I think these are the things that, lessons that clearly the members of the committee that are the support staff of the committee, you don't learn from these processes, you don't do better. And we are really hoping that this time around, you are not going to really disappoint members of this committee again for a lack of doing things timeously. I can safely tell you now that many other political, not political, but portfolio committees have long submitted their requests for their international trips. And as it is, some of them are already starting to travel now in Feb. They will be traveling in March. And I'm wondering that by the time the Home Affairs needs to travel again, will not have a challenge of those financial implications that will not be approved simply because our planning is being done very late. So I really need to get an understanding from yourselves that what really entails that financial application. How long does it take for you to be able to compile it and submit it? I mean, we knew about the India trip since last year already when our Brazil trip failed. But now it's towards end of January, and you still have not put that in place. Thank you very much. Chair, I will allow the members to then respond to the questions that have been asked and the comments that members have made, and then you can then take over your meeting. Thank you very much.
Okay, Chairperson, I'll start. If there's anything that I will have left out, my colleagues Adam and Lebo and Kirsten and Babalo will fill it in. Mr. Mkhale, the concept paper was developed and then it was shared with the chairperson. It has not yet been shared with members, but I can send it to members today if that the committee members want. In terms of the the budget for the international trips, we last year were given 3 million rand. That is this current financial year that would end in March. We were given 3 million rand that we were told that it was going to be for oversight and other activities of committees, but not including international trip. Then towards the end of the year, we received an email from the Office of the House Chair to say if committees are traveling internationally, they will have to use that 3 million rand. That will be also for oversight visits. So there have been some changes there. So I'm thinking that of the budget that we are going to be using for India, it will be for this current financial year, and then from April going forward, they will be given another budget. Probably that will be covering the trip to Chirundu and Namibia. Then the ERCP report, Mr. Ross, the letter from the minister said the panel should submit the report to him on or before the 30th of January 2026. So the report has to go to the minister. So that's why even on the program of the committee, we've scheduled that we're going to have a look at it on the 31st of March, probably giving the minister almost a month just to process it. On the issue of the radio stations, and then we'll request the colleagues there just to give us the list of the radio stations. And then just also to indicate on the WhatsApp that I received today, I've also reported it on it, is that in Sikukune tomorrow at Mutse FM, then Tandi will be there from 10 to 11 o'clock on terms of the radio. Yeah, we take note of the issue of proper planning. And I think for this public hearing, I think that we have done a proper planning. If we keep to the times, and then we'll be able to be living on times to go to the next public hearing. Ms. Maji, the issue of the yellow fever that we did for the Brazil study tour, if you remember at that time, even if we're not going to go on a study tour, they were saying after 6 months, if you want to, you must come back for another one, and they will try to organize. It will be 6 months before we even travel, so that we can get that immunization finalized. That will be for life for some of us who have taken it, but we'll take note of it as well. And then we'll also check with, I'll also check with the Indian embassy. I've already done that in terms of the visas, but also check in terms of the health requirements, so that no, we're not want funding. And then we'll also check with the issue of the weather in Limpopo. Our colleagues are already there, some of them yesterday, so we'll check with them in terms of the rain, and also check on the internet in terms of the weather condition. We'll inform members accordingly. In terms of the financial application, Thurston is doing the financial application, but at the moment he's doing it, but at the same time he's also assisting in terms of the public hearings, in terms of logistics, accommodation, flights, and all that other stuff. So it's not like we are not doing it. Thurston is working on it. Is here in the meeting, and probably it will be submitted as soon as possible for processing. It's not like we are sitting and not doing anything. I think that's all from my side. So if there's some additions, my colleague can add. Adam, Devo, and the other colleagues.
I could just add, Eddie, that there's no vaccination or requirements for India. However, if we're going to go to Zimbabwe, Zambia, we're going to need to get our second round for the yellow, perhaps for the yellow fever. So that will arrange in due course. And then the concept notes. Yes, I think it would be good to add the aspect of registration of mass registration of unregistered citizens as a point, and I'll add that to the concept paper. I think that's a good addition if with the committee's support.
Chair, there's a hand of Honorable Ngobeni, but before we let her in, I don't think you have answered me. I had asked you, I did not ask you who does the application. I had asked you what does it entails and how long does it take to put it together and be submitted? Thank you. Mr. Ngobeni? Honorable Ngobeni, your hand is up. Is it a legacy hand?
Honestly,
Your line is not clear. We cannot hear you. Can you try and move?
can you hear me now?
Around? Yes, it's better.
No,
Proceed.
so I wanted to just honestly cover you on this to say if that's a response to the question that you are asking. I think also with my question as well, it's to ask for an indication of some sort of certainty to say what are the time frames and are we confident that this time around the planning will suffice and that the committee will be able to travel or able to do all of the work that was supposed to have been done even on the Brazil trip. So I just wanted to cover you just in case, because I don't want us just to move off of this one without getting a proper response from Mr. Matete. I don't think that he responded to your question. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Can we get a response, Mr. Matonsi, and then Mr. Chabane, you can take back your meeting as I step down. Thank you very much.
So if we have all the information, I think Thurston, because he's mostly the one who's doing it, I can't say it will take a week or it will take 3 days. So if he's able to indicate to us how long will it take him, then I think that will answer everybody. Thurston, are you in the meeting? Hi, Thurston. Okay, it looks like he's not in the meeting because he's the one who's compiling it. So at most, it will take about a week when all the information is at his availability, and then he submits it, and then from there, there's a process of all the signatories that are supposed to sign on the application.
Eddie, Thurston's
yeah.
just rejoined us. He had some challenges.
Yeah.
Okay, can we thanks acting chair for facilitating this meeting, and also thanks for noting my apology. I was someone at this school, primary school, where the little one had some challenges. And thanks I was listening to the comments of members and also the presentation that we have facilitated, compiled for this meeting. We thought that it's important to update members on the issues that we have resolved on for purpose of the committee to be updated on the process. If you recall, members, our last 2 meetings, the meeting that we decided to cancel the trip to Brazil, I did indicate that the head of officials, the new head which was appointed, I've requested her to monitor and preside over the preparation of all the trips that are going to undertake outside the country, and including bringing in the Independent Electoral Commission, in particular on the front that is linked to the electoral issues, and also bring in the chair commissioner in relation to the Zambia-Zimbabwe corridor. So we have agreed that that area of coordination must be tightened, and you can see I think members have observed that there are certain issues that they are not coming out clearly from the officials in terms of the time frame when this application is going to be done. So I will propose that we step off that item. We were in the process of engaging with the commissioner of the IEC, and also the head of the institution, and the comprehensive report in terms of the issues that we need to deal with. We'll bring it in our committee meeting when we reconvene. This was just an update. But what we firmly agreed is that all the details in terms of the logistics, in terms of the confirmation of who are we going to engage on, subject matters of the committees of members who are going to meet, profiles of those that are going to be engaged on in that front of the country, like they do when they require our state of the profile of the committee members. We agree that by end of an issuing of the logistic transportation, both on air and ground, are going to be presented as a complete during the month of February. Latest will be the end of February as we go. We're going to undertake this trip in April. So by towards the end of February, we must have closed all the issues that we have identified, and she will be presenting on the logistics trip to Brazil. So that was one point I wanted to emphasize, so that we we're learning from the two collapsed trips that we've been undertaking, which were not properly coordinated. And I think all of us have taken a decision that we need to also include the DECO team that assists in Parliament. There's an international relation team that also, or committee, or unit that also assists committees to engage on the process of the trip. So I think that is the emphasis that we have, is a resolution of your meeting that we must facilitate. I think on the issues of the preparations for the public hearings, I think we've tried to make sure that the report come as per your expectations. We ought to work on the issue of the conditions of in Limpopo. It's clear that the team must also inform us what will be the condition next week. We take a note of the incident happened or yesterday, basic education trip, but I think also on the traveling, we've noted it. The issue of the financial position will request that Dr. Twalo, in our next meeting, the matters that have been raised by both the Honorable Modise and Honorable Mkhale in terms of the financial position of the prepared trips that will be undertaken. We may need to invite Dr. Twalo in our next formal meeting just to update the committee, given that already there's allocation allocated to the committee. We have already started with the community radio stations, both at our level and also the team that are engaging with the communities workshops in relation to this matter of public hearings. And the Mr. Malazzo, who is our communication team, has also facilitated some few to interact with. And I think we are at a correct path. So if there's no any other matter, I will invite members that we have referred to the committee, head of the committee to deal with. I will invite hands. Honorable Mkhale.
Thank you very much, Chair. Greetings to you. Chairperson, the question of Honorable Modise with regards to the preparations, or why did we have to wait until now to start with the preparations, was not, I didn't hear it being responded to. Because this trip to India, we discussed it immediately after the collapse of that Brazilian trip. So to avoid the issues that we experienced that you have indicated, why did we have to wait until the new year to start the planning? Because we still have 2 more international trips to the border post and Namibia as well. When is the preparations for those trips going to start as well? Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Mkhale. Can I get Mr. Matonsi?
Yes, Chair, the preparations for Namibia and Chirudu, I've requested the content advisor and the researcher to also start working on the concept paper. So once that concept paper is done, and I'm able to make a political application and submit it to the House Chair, and then while the committee assistant as well will also do the financial. So as soon as that is done, then we'll be able to submit and look at days around June this year.
Okay, I think the issue is the decision we've taken long time ago, and I've raised this thing in Menko. I told them that this matter will arise in a committee. But I wanted to advise, persuade members that we await the head of the committee, of the staff who has been appointed, and will deposit this matter to her and Dr. Twalo. In our next meeting, as I've indicated, we'll then get a comprehensive report and the planning on the 3 areas that Honorable Mudisemta and Honorable Mkhale have raised. And I think if we can close it in that manner. Is there any other matter?
On the agenda, there's no other matter.
Okay. Can I just check with the acting chair, because I got in the middle of the discussion. Is there any other matter that was raised, Honorable Mudisemta, so that I facilitate closing of remarks?
I don't think there are matters that would need you to pay attention to, unless if Honorable Mr. Matonsi and Salmon would have noted some matters that were raised that will need you to make comments or remarks on. Thank you,
Okay.
Chair.
All right, thank you very much. It means on this matter of the trips in our next meeting, Dr. Twalo and the new our head of the staff will then present. You must formally will formally invite them to come with the detailed report. As I've indicated, the timeframes are clear in terms of how I've discussed with in our last year late December on the preparations. Thanks very much, members, and compliments to all. The meeting stands adjourned.
Thank you, Chairperson. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye, members.